This podcast is brought to you in memory of all those wrestlers which we have lost.
Figure 4 Radio. Lock it in. Lock it in. Lock it in.
Hello everybody, welcome to Figure 4 Radio. My name is the Mastermind Olie Spring. Today we're going to be talking about a very depressing topic. We're going to be talking about fallen heroes, we're liking to call them today. I'm joined as always by the Killer Kai Brand.
Good, hello.
And by Luke O'Mac.
Hi.
Recently we discovered that China, the ninth wonder of the world, had passed away. Add that to a growing list of wrestlers recently that seem to have passed away as well. So we wanted to talk about those maybe recent and maybe more not recent, whatever the word for that is, that we've lost.
This is the time sort of to reflect on like the Mr. Perfects, the Roddy Pipers, the Dusty Rhodes, the Ultimate Warrior, the Macho Man. Yeah. I think it's a nice way for us just to go and talk about our memories. Just one massive dedication, of course, Chris Travis in Britain as well.
Definitely, yeah. Who, our very first Figure 4 Radio podcast was in memory of the Ultimate Warrior. When he passed away, I think our
that was on a radio show, wasn't it? That's when we were doing a radio show.
It might have even been on the radio, but a long time ago now, it seems. It just seems that lately, I think we're getting to an age now where kind of our heroes from being kids are getting to that age now where it's various reasons. Life becomes more precious for those those people.
Unfortunately, we're probably going to miss some off the list.
We're going to miss an awful lot off the list. So please don't take any offence if you listen to this and we don't name one of your favourites who is no longer with us. But we're going to try and talk about as many people. But I think China obviously being the most recent one. For me at the moment, my network viewing has kind of got up to her heyday. Literally, the last pay-per-view I watched before I found out that she died was the one where she beat Jeff Jarrett to become the first ever female Intercontinental Champion. Match was horrible.
Didn't she end it by smacking him with a guitar or something?
It's about time Jeff Jarrett had that done.
Well, it was a good housekeeping match, which basically meant you could use weapons as long as they were household items.
Okay.
And but he hit her with the Intercontinental Championship. The referee, who was Teddy Long at the time, counted it, gave him the win. And then as he's walking down the aisle, I think it was the Fink, whispered in his ear, goes, "No, I used the Intercontinental belt." And he's like, "Oh, hey, player, that's not a household item." Ran down the aisle after him and said, "No, you're not winning it. The Intercontinental belt is not a household item." The match carried on. She hit him with a guitar, which...
Do you have a guitar in your house?
No, I do. I
do.
Luke discovered actually earlier before we left that I have a number of guitars in my house.
This is true.
And
one that I want.
she clocked him with it and she won the belt. She was so over at the time. I think obviously the events that happened kind of in the years after her leaving the WWF may have severed some ties. I think is the way to put it.
Yeah, that's probably the nicest way to put it.
Yeah, but I did recently see the tribute video they aired for her, and I think it's a shame that it takes someone to pass away for them to recognise stuff like this. Yeah, because she really was influential in the ring.
I think that video should have been in the beginning of Raw. It should have been in the middle. Like you said, she was so influential for the women's division.
Yeah. Well, no, not even just the women, for the men's as well.
Yeah, I mean, what she did for Triple H in her career, like, he probably would never have got over as much as he did without her.
Definitely. Without a doubt.
So, yeah.
Just remember, this is what I like. China was the number one women's wrestler that I absolutely love, because I love... women wrestlers who I think could beat the living shit out.
The legitimate ones, not the ones with
just look great in bikini.
The slim waist and
legitimate. She could get in that ring, she could go, and like I said, if I was going down the street and I was going for a fight and China came around the corner and I had to fight China, I'll be running the other way.
Oh hell yeah, completely.
She was a beast, and
I truly hope she gets a Hall of Fame induction because she does deserve it.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing, actually, Chris Travis passed away this year.
Yeah.
There's a kind of a petition online to get him as the Warrior Award at the next. The next Hall of Fame. I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
I personally, I've signed it.
I've signed it as well.
Yeah. I think it's up to at least 5,000 names now, which is amazing.
They've got to at least take notice of it.
I hope so.
I think they have. I think Cody Rhodes has done something in recognition of it. Not to get the Warrior.
Kevin Owens. Well, a lot of people have tweeted about it from the WWE. Kevin Owens actually put quite a touching tweet, I think, from what I saw, which was quite out of character for him.
So unfortunately, we never, I think, have already got a chance.
We were meant to see him. We were meant to see him at Stevenage for Southside's 4th anniversary show, and that was when he first kind of got diagnosed, and I can't remember who the tag match was with. It was still Martin Kirby. I can't remember
Martin
who
Kirby
joined him.
and the other one who's on Wrestle Talk. Was that Scully?
Was it Marty Skull?
Yeah. It was him.
Okay. So Marty Skull and Kirby versus.
We don't talk about Wrestle
Bad Influence
TV.
We don't. Well, they don't exist on TV anymore.
Good.
But yes, it's been a pretty rubbish year for China. I mean, people like Balls Mahoney, Axel Rotten passed away as well, two ECW legends.
Yes.
Who I don't really know too much about. Yeah. Blackjack Mulligan also recently passed away. He's the grandfather of Bray Wyatt and Bray Dallas.
Bray Dallas, yeah.
I think last year they was probably the worst for two, like as far as iconic.
Just
wrestlers.
quickly touching back on that China thing. I think I said this to you earlier. I was reading up about not so much people that had died, but like people who had fallen from grace and from where they were. Yeah. And there was a story on there of Sean Mortman, or X-Pac, however you want to know him, and he'd obviously left the WWE, was doing indie shows, and he was doing all kinds of substances and stuff like that, and he went through a phase where he was being abusive to his partner, and he felt really bad about it, and he tried to kill himself. His partner then found him, and he had the support of Triple H and Kevin Nash to bring him back to kind of where he is now. And it made me think that had the ties not been severed for China, would she have got to the position she got to? If she'd stayed friends with the guys in WWE, had it not gone so bad,
There was a whole clique thing, wasn't it? Was China really part of that clique?
Well, no, but she was part of DX.
She was while she was with Hunter.
Yeah,
and then when that went south, I'm guessing she kind of went out the door.
It also brought up a question to me of after things with like Benoit and stuff, they brought the wellness policy in. Yep. Now, should they not maybe do you can't call it a wellness policy, but do a thing for people who have left the WWE?
No, they do. They still do. They I can't remember who. I think they've recently, not recently, but in the past 5 years, they funded Sonny to go into rehab.
Yep.
I think they also helped Kurt out as well, Kurt Angle, even though he was with TNA. I think they helped fund his rehab as well. They do a lot, in fairness. I think from what I've read anyway. I think they do keep an eye on people.
Yeah. The one I'm glad about is thankfully he's still with us. Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yes, yeah. I think DDP Yoga's keeping him on the planet, to be honest.
I've personally seen the resurrection of Jake the Snake, and that
is it good, worth watching?
Oh yeah. But for filmmaking and documentary wise, very, very worth making it. It's basically showing Jake the Snake at his worst. He wants to kill himself. He's at rock bottom, nowhere to go, and his old friend DDP, obviously with DDP Yoga, like says, you'll come and live with me.
Have you seen the film The Wrestler?
Yes.
Is it because I'm led to believe that The Wrestler is loosely based on Jake the Snake?
Yeah.
Anything that you saw from?
I think it's more to do with. It's not so much the wrestling side of it, it's to do with the
home life.
Like the relationship he has with his daughter and things like that. I think that was more the side of it.
That makes more sense into what DDP was. Jake the Snake was on about. So things like what DDP is doing, because during that documentary he had Scott Hall come in as well, and he looked fat.
See, he's another one.
Scott Hall has been revolutionised by DDP.
He really has.
But he's another one who, again, he didn't. He's still with us, thankfully. But he had that fall. He took so many substances and drunk so much and stuff like that. There's quite a few you can kind of put in that kind of category that have fallen, but not completely gone.
I say this, but without DDP, would Jake the Snake and Scott Hall be on that list?
I think they probably would be.
I'm not sure if they will. I'm not sure if they would. Well, unless they find another way to kind of distract themselves from the demons. But I think DDP's,
from what I've heard,
pretty much saved their lives. I think. To be honest. I'll just throw another. While we're talking about the Jake the Snake documentary, there's another one. Another guy still with us. No sign of giving up. But not wrestling at least. Nigel McGuinness. There's a documentary. You might not know much about him. He's a British guy, but made his name in Ring of Honor. Almost got signed to WWE. He had his fitness test the same day as Daniel Bryan did. They went over together. Daniel Bryan got it. He didn't. He then contracted, I think, hepatitis B whilst wrestling for TNA. Under the name Desmond Wolfe, and then had to retire from wrestling altogether. Even if you've never heard of the guy, watch the documentary. I think it's called The Last of McGuinness. If you don't at least well up a little bit during a documentary, then you are not human.
I was crying at Jake the Snake.
Yeah, this is another one. Really, really, really good documentary. It just shows how much people put into this business. And kind of makes you appreciate it. But luckily, he's still with them. I think at one point he was a commissioner of Ring of Honor. I'm not sure if he still is, but he's still a massive player. Going back a few years, to last year, Roddy Piper and Dusty Rhodes.
That was a shock.
Two giants, I think.
That was a shock. Roddy Piper was a shock. Now, my memories of Roddy Piper was back in WCW when he, they were taking all the old guard.
Yeah.
I didn't actually like him, mainly because his finisher was a sleeper hold. It was like, that's a bit pants. Yeah, so many people doing a sleeper hold and they get out of it, and then Roddy Piper was a sleeper hold.
I wasn't a massive Roddy Piper fan. He was good on the mic, but
I almost can't understand how he was so big, but then he was a character, I guess. He wasn't.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't a gimmick. He was just larger than life.
And the Piper's Pit always ended in a fight. Yeah. I think that's what it was. Like obviously the most famous one was where he smashed a coconut over Jimmy Snuka's head.
Yep. That did happen.
Yeah, legitimately happened, unfortunately. But that was a bit of a shock because he never seemed like he was ill, or he never seemed like he was.
You didn't hear anything, did you?
Well, no, I guess not.
Just all of a sudden,
he's just. You assume that they just live a normal life, and that's what happens. But
I think one of the ones, because I mean, for me, Roddy Piper and Dusty Rhodes, I never really witnessed them.
Roddy Piper, in wrestling. I did. Dusty Rhodes, I didn't. All I remember of Dusty Rhodes is the pay-per-views of WCW. He would join them on commentary, and you always had him and Bobby the Brain just going at it, just back and forth. It was absolutely brilliant because I couldn't quite understand what Dusty Rhodes was on about.
I think
he's been very influential in NXT, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, well, very much. He's got the tag team classic named after him.
I think that's why it became such a shock, because he'd just become like a household name again.
Yeah,
like for those guys who watch wrestling.
I saw a segment where it was him and Cody and Goldust when Cody and Goldust were kind of back and forth with each other, and he was kind of playing the father figure and stuff like that.
Exactly. But that was when Stardust actually said, "You're not my father." And to have that as your last thing you say to your dad on TV, must have been really quite heartbreaking for Cody.
You can tell if it when they unveiled the winners of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Classic.
Yeah,
and he gave such a heartfelt speech. Yeah, that was touching.
So many wrestlers in NXT, like I think Paige was one. She went on the Stone Cold podcast afterwards, and she was like kind of welling up talking about him. So he was such a father figure to a lot of them.
A lot of them, like Bailey is always kind of wearing something in polka dot.
Yeah,
and they're kind of a tribute to him.
Sasha Banks. I know it was Eddie Guerrero. We'll talk about it in a minute.
Oh yeah.
What I do like, and a great tribute for obviously your father, so influential in the industry, is Stardust's polka dot ladder.
Yeah. That got a good pop.
That was really good.
And it got a nice round of applause. I think for me, looking at the ones over the past kind of 3 or 4 years, Paul Bearer was one of the biggest ones that stands out, because how publicly that played out in the feud between CM Punk and Undertaker.
I thought that was maybe going a bit,
with the whole urn and the dropping the urn and the ashes going everywhere. And
Paul Bearer's a twat, basically. And
I mean, it's cheap heat for Punk.
Oh yeah,
it's very cheap heat for Punk.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was good heat.
Was the Undertaker working, or was he legitimately punching the shit out of CM Punk? I don't know. Because I fucking would.
I'm led to believe that his sons were okayed it on a certain level. but it maybe went a bit further than they were aware of. But yeah. I think for storylines like that, for them to play out so publicly, or to use them in a storyline so heavily, I don't know. I'm not sure if.
I don't know. But
it
Paul
takes
Bearer,
a certain level of guts as a man to be able to go out and do that.
But then I suppose if you're talking of cheap heat on things like that, and you touched on it a second ago with the Eddie Guerrero one, was when Randy Orton turned around to Rey Mysterio and said, Eddie's not in heaven, he's down in hell. Like that is cheap heat. Yeah. That's really cheap heat.
Recently did Charlotte mention...
Paige mentioned something to Charlotte about her brother.
About Reed, yeah. It is a... Oh, I still don't know if I like it. But then at the same time, you got the other extreme where you've got the WWE almost refusing to even acknowledge the existence of Chris Benoit. Like they did
a tribute like the night after, I think, and then they found out what happened, and he's just been erased from everywhere.
It's a shame though, because what he did, he killed his own family. We don't know what happened in his own family. I'm not saying what he did, any circumstances was right.
Didn't they say that his brain was that of like an 80-year-old man?
It was an 80-year-old Alzheimer's patient.
So basically, when he snapped, when he did, he probably didn't know who he was or where he was or what was going on.
And he was abusing steroids at the time as well, so that didn't help.
I read a documentary. It wasn't the steroids thing. It was more of the how many concussions he's got, and that.
Yeah. It was up to the concussions, but it was also on steroids, which obviously we all know about roid rage and things.
It's a concoction that you don't want to be messing with, really.
Exactly.
But I'm still not sure if it's like obviously it's not the same thing, but the band Lost Profits. Ian Watkins going to prison for being for paedophilic behaviour. Do I still love the songs? The Lost Prophet songs? I can't. I love the songs, but like you kind of feel
tainted now. That's
But I almost refuse to let his actions taint the thing. So do you then let Chris Benoit's actions taint your viewing of it? Because I haven't got up to any of his matches yet on the network, but I get the feeling when I do, it's going to be very awkward.
I watched WrestleMania 20, obviously, where both Eddie and him won the championships, and my other half said, "Well, he was the one that killed his family."
Yeah,
and I sat there for a little while and just thought he did do that. But then I look back at the telly and think he was such a good worker, he was such a good entertainer, and you can't gloss over the fact what he did. Yeah. But you kind of push it to the back of your mind a little bit and just think, I'm going to appreciate this match for what it is.
Well, like, we've probably three of us, we've probably in our past we've all done things we're probably not proud of.
Yeah.
We've maybe treated certain people like crap, and and at the same time we've been treated like crap ourselves. But we try not to judge ourselves on our bad things. It's just unfortunately that Chris Benoit's last bad action was his last action, full stop.
I remember watching Chris Benoit back in WCW. He got out of a limousine, he turned up, and obviously he's been in Japan, he's been in ECW, I think. And they made a big thing of it. And I remember watching it and just going, this guy is absolutely amazing.
It's $1 million,
exactly. It was absolutely fantastic.
Well, like when he came in with the New Radicals, and there were the guys like him, Malenko, Guerrero,
Perry Saturn, you can't really care about. But
I used to quite like Perry Saturn.
To be honest, Perry Saturn, again, it's not he's died, but he fell on bad times. He went missing for 2 years. His family didn't know where he was. They found him living in like an underpass somewhere.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was addicted to methamphamphetamines for a couple of years, and he completely fell off.
Kids, drugs are bad.
Yeah, so are mops, apparently, by the sound of it. So he was another one that fell off completely, and he's now done what a lot of Americans do and turned to God, and it seems to be their saviour, I think. That's what they turn to.
Kind of skipping ahead, I wanted to ask you guys who you think the most kind of influential kind of wrestler passed away was. I'm going with Andre the Giant, because I think he passed away in 1993 and was the first inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame and the only inductee that year. And I think his passing was kind of the first of the modern era of real life super giants and the kind of superhero characters. I think he was probably the most influential. He kind of kick-started the whole people caring about wrestlers dying, I guess, in a way, without trying to sound too crass.
I think for me personally, the one that got me was Macho Man. and then
I'm not sure. I think
he died.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. Yeah, was it 2011? I think from what I gather.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I think that for me personally was because as soon as it happened and found out about it, I went back and they had all these documentaries and stuff, and it was quite sad because I had an interview with Hogan. And Hulk Hogan had said he'd seen him a couple of weeks before. He was looking fit and healthy. He'd just got himself back on the road. He was like, he was just getting his life back together. He just married his high school sweetheart, and then bang, out of nowhere has a heart attack in the car. And and he was one of the first guys I remember. Like we've said before,
my very first wrestling video has Hulk Hogan, not Hulk Hogan, Macho Man facing somebody. But he had the Intercontinental belt at the time. I can't tell you who it was against or when it was, but I just remember him being the first match on that video, and it's just cuts here and
there.
But
like I've said before, like one of my favourite matches, and possibly looking back at it now, was the one at WrestleMania 3 with Steamboat, where he lost the title to Steamboat. Just his work ethic and just everything about him. And the fact that everyone had these big, like, heavy guitar kind of intros and stuff, and his was like... It was almost like an anthem, like a national anthem, like a theme. Like it would start and then it would just crescendo, and then out he'd come, and he'd have all these wonderful colours on and all the tassels, and he was just such a big character. And he was just one that I remember from my childhood.
Those glasses and goggles, they were amazing.
The big cowboy hats.
Have you heard the Jay Lethal Black Machismo version of his intro?
No, but
good.
I've heard him do an impression, and it is incredibly good.
It is. He has the same intro music, but it kind of goes da 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 da, and it kind of comes in with this funky like bass line, like
I'll check that out.
It's so good. I think for me recently, because I always hark back to this. I'm watching every pay-per-view on the network. Brian Pillman in '97 and Owen Hart in '99. Both, well, obviously
Brian Pillman's dead.
97, yeah.
Is he?
Brian Pillman.
Yeah, there's a whole like documentary and stuff on the network about
Genuinely did not know that.
These two to kind of spark my interest, or not spark my interest, but kind of I noticed in certain ways, because when I always do like my research on shows, and when I've watched them, I go back and read other people's reviews.
Brian Pillman, the first match on WCW Monday Nitro, the same.
Was it?
I did not know that.
Flying Brian, I think was he.
Flying Brian.
Flying Brian.
He passed away in his hotel room the night before a pay-per-view. And I think I can't remember. I'm not sure if they either went to his hotel to try and find him, or they. No, I think it was Jim Ross called the hotel and said, "Look, hi, we've got one of our wrestlers is staying with you guys." Don't know why I'm doing the hand thing with my phone because we're on a podcast. It says, they basically phoned the hotel manager. They went and checked and found that he'd passed away, and then they had to then turn up to the pay-per-view and say, by the way, Brian's not going to be wrestling tonight. And of course,
genuinely denied. I did wonder what actually happened to it. I just assumed it.
I think it was a heart attack or something like that in his hotel room, just like that. And so he was due to wrestle the following day.
Do we know who? Who is?
I can't remember. It might have been Steve Austin.
Yeah, they were going through a bit of a feud at that.
He had that whole intruder in his house pointing at a gun. Shooting him. That was.
But yeah, that was obvious, and obviously I read that afterwards, and it was kind of shocking to think. Obviously I'm watching a pay-per-view right now, and less than 24 hours ago, a guy that was meant to be on it passed away. But then, of course, there's the Owen Hart
which
thing.
Is possibly one of the most infamous ones in WWE because of how it happened. And
I remember, I can honestly say before the death of Owen Hart, I knew of him. I'd never seen him wrestle until sort of the back things. But I do remember listening to a podcast with Sting. I think it was on JR's podcast, and they were doing the same thing. What happened to Owen
fell
Hart?
From the rafters,
fell from the rafters, and they used the same guys who were doing it with Sting. And I remember Sting saying, he rang up Bret Hart saying, I'm still meant to be doing this. Do you mind if we do it?
Which is a really nice bit of respect, actually.
And apparently Bret Hart said, "No, go for it. That's your thing. You go for it."
Yeah. Brian Pillman was meant to wrestle Dude Love that night. But the thing for me with Owen Hart is the show that he passed away on is now on the network. It was never available on DVD, so it was the one that I could never buy, and it's now been. And I tried not to read too much into it. I knew it was the night that something happened, but I was very interested going in watching interesting to see how they edit it or how they cut things around.
All credit to the wrestlers who carried on that show.
And I mean, for basically what I did, I sat down, I started watching it, and I didn't know when his match was meant to be.
Yeah.
So I basically just watched it and was trying to see if I could notice any obvious cuts or any announcements, and I couldn't. And so I got halfway, I got to the end. Pardon me, and I think he was meant to be the second match on, so it basically means everything after the first match was everybody wrestling after knowing what happened, and I think that kind of really hit me because I couldn't tell, and that kind of scared me a little bit.
That's the professionalism of the people.
There's that, but it kind of also made me worried because they literally erased it from the show. They put the thing up at the start saying in memory of Owen Hart, who died, passed away during this filming, but. You don't get to hear Jim Ross's announcements. I mean, I don't know if that's good or bad.
I don't think I'd want to hear that. I don't think I'd want to have it cut so it, the accident happened.
Yeah.
And obviously you don't see it, but it then cuts to JR saying this just happened because
I'm not sure if I want, but then I don't know if I'd want more of an acknowledgement than just a little flyer at the start of the show, or.
Maybe it's...
I'm not sure I'm happy or not about it. It's a tricky one.
It's entertainment at the end of the day. I don't get it.
The show must go on, obviously, as Vince is famous for saying.
All Freddie. But like I said, Owen Hart, I've gone back and remember those hours on end that you were spent here. We were watching Owen Hart and Bret Hart go at it, and
I think in a way the saddest thing about Owen Hart was his career. Just as soon as Bret left the WWF and he stayed, his career just went nowhere. He was such a talented guy.
I think, unfortunately, he got stuck with that Blue Blazer thing. I don't think that was ever really over.
To be honest, I haven't seen any Blue Blazer on pay-per-view.
Yeah, so
which is so basically over. But he was in a tag team with Jeff Jarrett at the time.
Yeah,
that was big. But yeah, I just think watching like Kai says, like the old stuff with him and Bret. And when it was the Hart family, he was clearly very talented, but it just kind of felt that he almost got lost in the shuffle a bit.
When you look at the opening match of WrestleMania 10 against his brother,
brilliant match.
That is such a good match. It's really good, and that's probably the memory you want to have of Owen, of just being that really good worker, and being that main event guy that just didn't quite get there.
We talked about him briefly. We've mentioned him, but one of the biggest ones for me when I genuinely heard it, I was like a bit shocked, was Eddie Guerrero, just for what he's done especially for the smaller guys, the Rey Mysterios, obviously Chavo Guerrero, but
also the fact that he was still a big name at the time.
No, he was.
Yeah,
wasn't he?
There was no
he was
kind
on top.
There was no stopping him. He was still going. He'd still be here today wrestling if it hadn't happened.
Yeah. Oh good God, yeah.
Yeah. So it was a massive shock.
Apparently, Chavo Guerrero was saying he was in like the Macho Man. He was in the shape of his life. He was doing a lot more cardio.
Yeah, exactly.
A massive shock. I remember him winning the championship from Brock Lesnar. That was a massive,
crazy, wasn't it?
That achievement in that.
He's one of the few people that have beat Brock Lesnar clean. Like shenanigans.
That doesn't happen often.
Yeah, and there's like 5 people, I think.
Especially obviously Lucha Underground going apeshit for Rey Mysterio, because obviously what he's achieved. Worldwide, and of course Rey Mysterio keeps mentioning Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah,
and obviously Eddie Guerrero was very influential in his career. And many lucha Libre.
Have we mentioned Sasha Banks' tribute to him at WrestleMania? Because apparently his match with I can't remember which one it was. I know it's written somewhere online. His match was the one where she went to watch it.
Wasn't that with Brock Lesnar's? And it was in his style.
I'm not sure if it was that one. I think it was before. I'll have to check basically, but I know she was a wrestling fan. But watching Eddie Guerrero wrestle was seeing him in person was what made her think,
that moment that
I want to actually do this, not just watch it passionately.
I actually liked that match with because it also had Sasha Banks wearing the Eddie Guerrero style.
Yeah.
Also had, I know he's still with us, thankfully, the Woo Man himself. Charlotte wearing Ric Flair's retirement.
Yeah,
colours.
Yeah,
that was good.
That genuine jacket as well. It's like, I thought
the good spot in that match, which I think obviously was put in there for the whole Eddie thing, was the frog splash. To break up the pin.
Yeah. That was a good. That match was so good.
It was.
I think to me it was a close tie between that and the Hell in a Cell for match of the night.
Yeah,
but it was amazing if you ask me.
But Eddie Guerrero, I just remember watching him. He I think we mentioned this on a podcast. He was one of the main reasons why I got into wrestling. It was just the way he moved around the ring, and it was so quick, and everything looked genuinely real as well. It didn't look half-assed. It was
a different style to the time, though. He was one of the first ones to come in and bring, was it cruiserweight in WCW? Yeah, to bring that in, and that was one of the big selling points of like the Monday Night Wars. Like it was big guys in WWE and the cruiserweights and the big guys. It was a combination of both.
I don't think
WCW would not have been as popular if it wasn't for the likes of like Malenko and Guerrero and all these guys that came in, and he was a massive pioneer in that.
And if they pushed Guerrero more in WCW, I can't see how WWE would have managed.
No, exactly.
They just kept him down.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. That was the problem. But hey.
And it's just a massive thing. What about the Ultimate Warrior? Because what was it, the night after?
That was freaky.
His last speech, where he said something like, every day, every man will breathe his final breath.
Yeah.
And then, like, the very next morning, he died.
That was freaky.
That really was. Really weird.
But also really nice in a way that he got to... I think
he got to make peace. Yeah. He got to go out there and say what he wanted to say.
That was the biggest part, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's what, going back to the beginning of this, the whole China thing's about, is she was obviously reaching out, and she wanted to have that kind of moment that he had.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the Ultimate Warrior was a really sad one.
One article I've actually read recently about China, which is kind of disturbing in a way, is that her manager was trying to arrange an intervention for her, because I think she was going off the rails slowly.
Yeah.
He was trying to arrange an intervention, but there's a TV show in America where they televise like celebrity interventions.
Oh, okay.
And he was trying to get her on that. Obviously unaware of her, but trying to get schedules to match up. And I think someone asked the question, if they'd have maybe decided to have an intervention without it being televised and trying to sell it to Hollywood, would they have caught? I mean, there are lots of ifs and buts, and you can't obviously beat yourself up over stuff like that. But yeah, that kind of shocked me in a way, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you going to say, Guy?
No, just the Ultimate Warrior. I just want to say my last memory. So I remember going around this kid's thing. Just one time he had a play date. Didn't know the twat. Don't know who he is. Can't remember who he is. But he had a wrestling ring with the old style people, and the Ultimate Warrior was one of them. Hulk Hogan and Matchman. That's why I knew them.
Yeah.
So WCW. Back in the day, very god awful. The Ultimate Warrior came in. Shit, I remember this guy. I know this guy running around the ring, going ape shit.
Yeah.
Didn't know years later, but Sting and the Ultimate Warrior had a tag team match. I didn't know how.
I didn't know that.
How wow, that was.
Was that the dudes with attitudes? No, that was the
Flashing Blade or something. I can't remember. It's on a Wrestle Quiz.
It was, and we got that wrong, and I got it wrong calling them dudes with attitudes as well, I think.
But yeah, check that out on iTunes and Stitcher.
Was it something about radical dudes or
no?
Anyway,
what's your thing with radicals and filthy radicals and filthy animals and God knows what? Anyway,
the dude animals.
Shut up. So you had the Ultimate Warrior, and then you had like Ultimate Warrior going up against Hulk Hogan. But what I remember, and it was so god awful, but it was sticking in my memory probably till the day I die, is
Blade Runners?
Maybe.
No, it was.
It was, okay.
Yeah.
Was basically the Ultimate Warrior was this mysterious sort of gimmick. That's what he had in WCW. And he appeared.
Promos, which was weird.
And one at the time, Hulk Hogan was going mental. They kind of played on that. So he was going to cry, oh shit, Ultimate Warrior's coming after me. And then all of a sudden, Hulk Hogan was looking into the mirror, trying to get himself straight, and then the Ultimate Warrior appeared in the mirror.
Oh, wow.
Behind it. You say, oh wow, but it was god awful.
Yeah. Really that's why I say, oh wow. I think the biggest one I remember from Ultimate Warrior was the Papa Shango one in WWE, where he cast that voodoo curse on him, and he was like bleeding from the forehead for no reason, and it was again, it was one of those oh wow type moments.
I'll tell you what though, Ultimate Warrior, when I don't know, bad taste, but this is what I do remember watching back was what did the Undertaker they had like the casket shop or something with Paul Bearer doing his bit and doing it brilliantly, and they were going to a feud. It was going to be Ultimate Warrior versus the Undertaker, and they were building that feud up, and one of the bit I was kind of heartfelt was Undertaker shoved the Ultimate Warrior in this casket, and they had all these guys trying to open it up, and I remember just sitting there watching this back in the day.
I vaguely remember that.
Like trying to get open. I was scared for the Ultimate Warrior's life.
Yeah.
It was absolutely amazing by everybody involved in that, being Paul Bearer, being the Ultimate Warrior, because they played that brilliantly. It was an amazing bit of sports.
I think the biggest moment in Warrior's life though was title for title against Hogan.
That was my favourite Ultimate Warrior match, to be honest.
Ever.
Yeah.
In fact, possibly my favourite Hulk Hogan match as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, face versus face. Both of them had the Hulk up.
For me, at that point, I'd watched, like, from WrestleMania 1 to WrestleMania 6, every single match being good guy versus bad guy. Yeah. And when you see... And it was just different at the time for me. And I just loved the story that they played off. And nobody expected Warrior to win.
No, not at all. Everyone thought Hogan.
That's it, because it's Hogan, and then all of a sudden Warrior wins. It's like, holy shit!
Yeah,
I think I've just witnessed a torch being passed, and
which lasted for not long,
a year or so, until they realised that Warrior wasn't big enough to pull it off for much longer.
Yeah, it was just erratic, and that was the problem.
It was fun.
It was fun. It was very fun.
But what about Mr. Perfect or Kurt Hennig? Any memories? I remember him.
He unfortunately is a man who should have been champion multiple times.
Yes.
He was that talented and that good, and he never got given a chance.
Never got the push in WCW either.
Yeah,
I remember him coming in and just pulling all these moves off brilliantly.
The reason he was called Mr. Perfect was because technically he was
perfect.
He was absolutely
One
amazing.
thing I would say is, did he... Well, clearly he didn't need a championship belt to get over and to be...
No, not at all. I mean, he held the Intercontinental Championship for a while. Had that a couple of times. I think.
But as a wrestler, don't you want that heavyweight title and not to be sort of even like for a Zack Ryder to have that one little moment? Isn't that?
Of course you do. I think that you wouldn't go into wrestling if you didn't think you could get it.
We could just buy them off eBay now, but
I think
it's not the original.
I think for me, I mean, I know like you can say like belts in wrestling, they're just a prop. Some people need a belt to be relevant, to be interesting, to be cared about.
The Miz.
John Cena.
Other people don't. I think he was a guy, from what I've watched at least, he didn't need to be. He was good enough without a prop around his waist. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's true.
And I can't remember what matches it was, but there was two particular matches I remember. The way he was selling some of the stuff, like I think possibly against the Undertaker, like he took just a little punch, and he was doing like triple backflips over the top rope into the front row of the crowd. Someone looks at him funny, and he will you just breathe on him, and he will sell it like he's just been hit by a steam train. He was comical in a way, but brilliant at the same time.
Yeah, I could say Kurt Hennig might have been my most influential wrestler because he was the only wrestler who got me spitting out chewing gum and trying to smack it with a hand. Everybody else do it.
Did you ever do it?
I
did. You put it off?
I got quite good at that. I used to do it all the time.
You can never do that. Never.
Bang! That was the only sort of the wrestling bit that I was genuinely
just into someone's face next to you.
One time I did go in a girl's hair. I sort of looked the other way and just,
well done.
Just pretend like nothing happened.
Yeah, I'm play football. Don't worry.
Someone just threw chewing gum at you.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a horribly depressing podcast.
But nice talking about the memories.
Yeah. True.
What we've had,
because as I say, people like China, like Benoit.
I tell you what, though, what a pay-per-view they're getting up there.
Definitely, yeah. WrestleMania.
There was a really nice photo actually that went around.
I know the one you're talking about.
After China died, and it was Eddie in the ring that said "Welcome to Heaven, Mamacita." Yeah, that was really nice. I like that. Yeah, that was good.
Heat.
Indeed.
Yeah, I think it's depressing, but I think it's nice to acknowledge and tip the cap to those who have, I mean, in many ways, given their lives for us, because I think
definitely
a lot of the wrestlers, and I've got a massive list on my phone right now that I haven't even touched on, all seem to be dying very young from very similar things. And you got to,
because they're going all the time.
That's it. You got to believe that the wrestling business, it's not. Well, I know we alluded to this, a couple of weeks ago with the end talk about if it's fake or not, but clearly it has a toll on your body, on your soul, on your mind.
Yeah,
the kind of the you go out, you walk out into a room of people, and you've got fireworks going off, you've got rock music playing, people screaming your name, and then you wake up the next day, you just leave your motel room, you walk out to your car, and no one gives a shit.
The rest of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's an absolute roller coaster for these people, because I think like with Jake the Snake, you go from being one of the biggest names in the business, and then if you're not with the company anymore, like this is like before WCW was big and before TNA existed, what do? You go and you wrestle in gym halls to 100 people,
Tell you what, Jake. The resurrection of Jake the Snake is phenomenal watching. It really is.
I'm gonna have to look it up. I think definitely. Yeah.
Seriously, yeah.
And same with Last of McGuinness. That's just so. Yeah. So, it tugs on them old heartstrings.
It does, and it's great to see people like Jake the Snake and Scott Hall in that, and obviously Last of McGuinness recover well and be I think good at it.
For me, the one that really kind of stood out was Scott Hall when he gave his speech at Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And he was oozing confidence and charisma, and it's just like
great.
It felt like
he was almost back to the bad guy.
That's it. Yeah, you felt like you were watching Razor Ramon again, and not the shell of a guy that used to be Razor Ramon.
Exactly.
You know, that was really good to see. Yeah. And I think Jake, whenever he talks, he just sounds so gruff, and you can tell the years haven't been kind.
In that documentary,
you find out why.
You're crying. It's like he's got it. Just watch it.
I will do. I might have to. But ladies and gentlemen, that's been the most depressing podcast. But hopefully we've done them proud. At least, as we said at the start, apologies if we missed out your favourite.
Yeah, we've missed it.
I mean, I could run off a list right now. We didn't even get to talk about Conor the Crusher. That was one that got me.
That whole video.
I was crying.
A girl.
He put Daniel Bryan in the S-lock and he pinned Triple H. Oh.
He's one of the only people to get Triple H clean. That was heartbreaking.
Maybe the less we talk about him, the better. But
it is really nice to see that they're still going on with Conor's cure and they're still doing stuff. So.
Without a doubt. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I've been the mastermind, Olie Spring. I'm going to throw it over to Killer Kai, the social media guy.
Thank you very much. But technically, I'm not the social media guy anymore. If you're ever going to go onto facebook.com/Figure4Radio or Twitter, that's @Figure4Radio, you're probably going to talk to Luke. So go on there, talk to Luke.
You know the hashtags and the websites and the accounts.
I know all that crap. But yeah, go and check out our podcast, other podcasts. We've got loads of them on iTunes and Stitcher. And why not go to our website? It's figure4radio.weebly.com. You want to check out Olie Spring meet some of his favourite wrestlers of all time. That's Robbie E, Chris Sabin.
That was some good times. That was
Will Ospreay. Go on to the Figure 4 Radio YouTube page, which is youtube.com/F4TV.
Is that it? We good?
I think so.
Cool. So for the Mastermind Olie Spring, the Killer Kai brand.
Thank you.
And Luke O'Mac.
Thanks very much.
Join us next time here on Figure 4 Radio. Goodbye.